Well, sometimes you think, I'm just going to beat my mom a little bit. I'm just going to give her a beat down. And then it turns into she dies a couple weeks later, and then you're charged with homicide. That's today's story on Murder in the Morning at Stacey Cole and Carol Hughes.
I didn't mean
This
to
is,
start laughing in the middle of that, but the way you said that,
I know,
sometimes you're just going to
it's,
give your mom a little beat down.
like you do because you're pissed at her. You're upset.
Have
This
you
comes out
ever,
of,
like, even now, my mom was not a very kind mother. She's gotten much more kind as she's gotten old. But,
as most
like,
do.
I never in my life thought about hitting my mother back. Like my mom hit me. I never hit her back. That was just, I don't know. Like, that's horror. She has no business, you shouldn't be hitting anybody. But the
No.
fact that you could just smack down on your own mother and not mean to kill her, but whoops, you did.
Yeah, and sometimes, these actions have consequences, and there's a little plot twist toward the end of the story that we'll go into. It comes out of Maple Grove, Minnesota. I'm a Minnesotan. I live in Wisconsin, but I am from Minnesota, and Maple Grove is not very far from where I grew up. This is about a daughter accused of attacking her mother during a heated dispute over unpaid rent. According to the Maple Grove Police Department, Nicole Mari Wobbeking, age 49, was arrested on July 29th for misdemeanor domestic assault in the 5th degree. This is where it gets interesting. The charges were later upgraded to assault in the 3rd degree when investigators discovered that the victim, Sheila, the mother, age 78, had suffered a broken bone during the altercation. Okay, so sometimes, and this is a little bit medically, but when you have a broken bone, things can happen within your body. You could end up with an infection. In her case, things started to escalate.
Especially when you're 78.
Correct. Exactly. The incident occurred on June 27th when Sheila went to her daughter's residence, which she owned, and where Nicole was also a tenant, to address the issue of unpaid rent and complaints from nearby individuals. According to the criminal complaint obtained by Law and Crime, Nicole became agitated and a heated confrontation ensued. Well, then she slapped her mother and violently pushed her down several stairs. To the horror of investigators, it is reported that Nicole then used a jar of unopened pasta sauce to inflict further harm on her mother's ribs and hips. Now, I'm picturing, they said a can, so we're not talking about Prego in a glass jar. We're talking probably, I don't know, like canned
Like
tomato
Chef
sauce?
Boyardee stuff? I don't know. I guess they make it. They probably make it. I never get anything like that in a can.
Yeah, I don't either. I do the jarred stuff.
But the weird thing is that it sounds like this whole thing wasn't premeditated. I'm sure she hadn't paid her rent or she was having parties or whatever was going on. And as a mother and a landlord, she went to confront her. It escalated. She pushed her down the stairs. But how'd she end up with a pasta sauce? Like, is she in the kitchen and that was the closest thing? Like, it's just such a strange thing to grab.
Yeah, it's not something you would use typically to, well, she didn't murder her at that point. So it goes on. Despite her injuries, Sheila managed to leave the house with her granddaughter. So granddaughter was there, and they waited for the arrival of the police. She was taken to a hospital in Maple Grove, where it was discovered that she had suffered a broken ankle in the incident, most likely when she was pushed down the stairs. Well, tragically, her condition deteriorated and she passed away several days later. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office determined that Sheila's death resulted from a pulmonary embolism that was triggered by the broken ankle that she sustained in the attack. So if she had just done the beatdown with the can, probably wouldn't have died. It was probably most likely the fact that she was shoved down the stairs, caught herself with the ankle caused the blood clot, and boom, that's what killed her.
I can't, and I feel really bad for this granddaughter who was there.
Who witnessed the whole damn thing, it sounds
right.
like.
And even if she didn't witness it, she was outside in the car. I don't know how that went, but my God, how horrific. And to get that kind of angry, because there was a reason why she went to it said unpaid rent and complaints from nearby individuals. So it sounds like she's not paying her rent and probably partying and being loud.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that shit. Like that. Yeah. You're taking advantage of your mother.
Yeah.
Or
you're
your
49,
landlord.
grow up.
Yeah. It's just horrific. And the mother shouldn't have died because of that. Like,
yeah. And I don't think, I think, like I said, I think she was just being an asshole and beating her mom up. She didn't mean to kill her.
But she's beating up a 78-year-old woman.
Right. Right.
So if you grab a can of pasta sauce, and let's not even talk about the pushing her down the stairs part, you're hitting her with pasta sauce, you could cause some significant injuries to someone who's 78 years old. Their skin tears much more easily. They bruise very easily. Their bones are more brittle.
Yep.
You can't attack a 78-year-old and just be, okay, cool. You would, like, I imagine she was severely bruised from the attack.
Yes. Yep. I imagine so too. And when you're 78 years old, she might have been on blood thinners. The embolism, who knows? It could have been from her fragile condition. We don't know. But none of this is acceptable behavior. So, yeah, it's unfortunate that the woman died because of a broken ankle. You rarely hear something like that, but it can happen. So guess what? Don't beat your mom with a can of unopened pasta sauce, you moron.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers Podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.